Hi, and welcome back to our Ask the Agronomist video series. I am Phil Long, Precision Agronomy Advisor with Latham High-Tech Seeds. And this week we're out in the field, kind of right before that fun time to start looking at ear development and so forth. But I want to talk about corn rootworm and planning for next year. So we're kind of standing in front of some corn here that's leaning a little bit. I've seen some of this throughout the season that stood back up and so forth. And if you don't plant, even if you do or don't plant corn on corn, I've seen some rotated fields, corn soybean rotation, that are having trouble this year with it as well. So this is a problem that's not going away. It's one we're going to always have to battle. So this is a time of year to pay attention. So I want to talk about this a little bit. Obviously, this is the obvious indicator here. Another one that I typically use, if I look down and I see that a corn plant has additional nodal roots on it, like this one here, I pulled some of these back. But additional sets of nodal roots as you're walking your way up the stalk, that's not a good sign. That means that plant needs something else to anchor it down. The main set of nodal roots and the root system is not doing its job. So additional nodal roots is also an indicator. And a lot of times when you see these nodal roots fed on at the soil surface, they'll throw a lot of adventitious, small, tiny little roots coming out of there. That's also an indicator it's been fed on, but it's trying to regrow and so forth. So just remember, if you're seeing those additional nodal roots, it's not a good sign. So I've got a couple plants here I just want to look at. I did peel these additional nodal roots back on this one that's been fed on, but I want to show you really quick what you see from the road. So I did break these plants off so it's easier to hold, but you can see here both of these plants have a really nice ear on them. You would not suspect anything's going on here unless you're out in the field or seen something like this where some of the corn plants are leaning. But a lot of times this can make it all the way to harvest and we don't even know until the corn plants start leaning or falling down. So once again, check for those additional nodal roots. If you can pull it out of the ground, not a good sign. Very small root system. I was able to pull this one out of the ground pretty easily. A lot of these nodal roots, the interior ones here, look decent, but then the second, third, and fourth sets of nodal roots have all been fed on, which is not a good indication and not going to support that plant. These fields typically, especially early on in the season when they start getting fed on, are stressed. They have nutrient deficiencies and so forth. So it's usually obvious that something's going on, but unless you get out there and start digging some roots, you won't know. So hopefully you're digging up roots like this. This one, it looks really good. Some minor feeding as I washed it off. I did wash these roots in some water here. But you can see these nodal roots are penetrating, going down nice and deep. This plant was anchored. You'd never pull it out with two hands. It's anchored well into the ground. No issues there. So that's good, healthy root system. That's what we want to see, and that's what we hope we continue to see. It's just a battle with corn rootworm, so making sure that you're going out there and checking those fields is really important. So corn rootworm, we talk about it a lot, but western corn rootworm is going to be yellow with black stripes on it. Sometimes the males are bled a little bit, or they have more black on their back than yellow, and the females have more of a distinct 3 stripes on them. A northern corn rootworm is going to be primarily just green, lighter green. They do show up kind of more tan to me in the earlier season when they're coming out and so forth, but those are the 2 that you're looking for. If they're landing on your shirt sleeves as you're walking through the fields right now, you need to be doing this and digging roots. So the next step, the biggest thing you can do, the best thing you can do is plan for next year, plan ahead, because that's really our best method of attack for corn rootworm. We have to make sure we're planting traded hybrids, something like our Smart Stacks, which has 2 underground traits, or our Smart Stacks Pro, which has 3 underground traits and includes the new RNAi trait as well. We also have Duracade Viptera, which has 2 underground traits. Any of those are going to help. Mixing those up as well is going to help if you're in a corn-on-corn situation. And if you're seeing pressure even in corn-on-corn situations, you're going to have to start looking at insecticide options at the planter or at planting to make sure that you're controlling rootworm. Like I mentioned before, even if you have rotated ground, some of that is seeing pressure in certain areas. So make sure that you're paying attention and going out there and walking before harvest to check out some of these things. If you have any questions about corn rootworm, please feel free to reach out to us at 1-877-GO-LATHAM or visit us on our website at lathamseeds.com. Thanks for watching this week's Ask the Agronomist.